Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your January 2022 general readings. We're looking at the first half of January from the 1st to the 15th, the first 2 weeks of the brand new year. And this reading is for the earth sign of Taurus, our beautiful bulls. Welcome, everyone. I hope that you all had a wonderful Christmas and that you're transitioning into the new year well. I am recording these in the last 2 days of the old year, although we are looking at the first 2 weeks of the new year. So thanks for taking the time to watch it, for all that you do in support of my YouTube channel, watching videos, reaching out for personal readings, comments, donations, feedback. I'm grateful for all of it. Thank you. So this reading is for Taurus for the first 2 weeks of January 2022. That's if your sun, moon, rising, or Venus sign is in Taurus. It's also relevant if you're cross-watching for a Taurian. It's a general reading, so of course it's going to resonate a little differently for everyone. Watch all of your signs for any additional insight and perspective they might provide. And if you find something does resonate with you and you would like to reach out for a personal reading, perhaps take a deeper look at something for yourself or as a gift for someone else, you can click on the arrow below, that little description link, which will show you my email address, maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. Feel free to email me directly. I'd be delighted to hear from you. I can usually respond within the same day with more information. I do offer a wide variety of readings, and still quite popular right now are the 6 and 12-month overviews I do, which take a look at all the main areas of life for the next 6 or 12 months. You can order them any time of the year, but of course they're particularly popular right now because we're transitioning into a new year, so something to think about. Okay, Taurus. Let's see what's in store for you for the first half of January 2022. I'm using the Tarot of Dreams and clarifying with the Gilded Tarot. So we begin with the Five of Cups, a card of sorrow, loss, grief, regret. Not all is lost potentially, because what she's grieving are the 3 cups which are tipped over and spilled out, but there's still 2 cups behind her upright and full, but she's focused only on, the source of the grief or loss or regret. With the 5 of Cups, oh goodness, we have the Tower. The Tower typically represents major events which are potential game changers, often unexpected, sometimes not. But what they do is they shake up severely or cause something to break down and crumble that was flawed somehow. It can be a challenging card to take. I mean, fundamentally, it just represents a potentially life-changing event, often unexpected. And even though, but it often represents the ending or crumbling down or breaking of something which can be difficult or challenging. But this is Major Arcana card, so it represents that no matter how difficult this is, it's something that needed to happen so that change could occur, whether it's change of a situation or just walking a complete new path. So there's some regret, grief, sorrow about something that has happened, something probably quite major and profound. We'll clarify, of course. Next, we have the Star, which I really like seeing because actually, chronologically in the tarot, the Star comes after the Tower. So after the smoke clears and you clear away the rubble that the Tower left behind, the Star comes out to light the way. This is a card of renewed and restored hope, faith, and optimism. It's kind of light after darkness, health after illness, hope after despair. It usually comes after something challenging, which is why it comes after the Tower in the tarot. So it's a card it's one of the wish fulfillment cards, but it's a card that's based solely and wholly on faith. With the Star, we have Temperance, which is beautiful because this is a card that represents healing, balance, grounded, being grounded in the center. It can be a fairly spiritual card too. It's about, in the culinary world, temperance, or to temper something, means to take things that are of opposite degree or intensity and slowly combine them together until they make an even harmonious mix. So it's about neither too much of one thing nor too much of the other. So for some of you, some of you Whatever that Tower card represents for you, for some of you, this might be hope that this situation can be fixed or healed. But typically there needs to be a complete renovation after the Tower. For some of you, it represents that even though whatever the source of the Tower is, you haven't lost hope in the path that you're on moving forward. Because this is hope for healing here, hope for balance. Regardless of whether it's balance from a previously broken situation or just moving into a new path entirely. Next, we have the King of Wands, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, showing up as a female, but showing up as a male, but this is a general reading, so it could be female as well. This is not you, this is somebody who's showing up as significant or relevant in the situation somehow. With the King of Wands, we have the Two of Wands. Wands is governed by the element of fire, so it's fairly action-oriented. Twos typically represent being at a crossroads, duality, and a choice needing to be made. So this would be a choice of action. What do I do? Now, for some of you, this Five of Cups and Tower might be something that somebody else has done to you or that's happened because of somebody else's choices or actions. For some of you, it might be that you're the one that's regretting, that you've somehow caused the Tower card energy. Again, we'll clarify if possible. From the bottom of the deck, the overall energy and focus for the first half of January is the High Priestess, which is about connecting with your intuition, which is your connection to divine. Some people call it higher self, some people call it gut instinct. This is trusting in that inner voice to help guide you. The Ten of Swords. This is a card commonly referred to as the betrayal card, stabbed in the back, feeling exploited or thrown under the bus, a deep sense of disappointment. But it also represents the end or coming full circle of something, because the number 10 in the tarot does represent a cycle coming full circle, a cycle coming to an end or to a point of completion. The worst is behind you, and it's time to kind of get up and dust yourself off and figure out where you're going to go from here. This feels like kind of a decision-making couple of weeks. And I'm sorry to see it in a sense, because this looks like a challenging and, for many of you, maybe painful situation. Whether it's something that's happened to you as a result of some other person's, choices, decisions, actions, or whether it's you've done something that's caused this other person pain, or made a decision that you regret, because who wants to start off a new year this way? But what I've seen in years past is that Spirit, likes us to begin a new year, a new cycle, with as clean a slate as possible. And the Tower card often represents a situation which perhaps we had opportunities to change or modify or make different decisions on previously, but we didn't. And so Spirit usually comes in to allow or force a situation so that we can deal with something. All right, let's clarify the focal energy, the High Priestess and the Ten of Swords. It feels here ultimately like this period of time, this short period of time, Taurus, is really about making decisions as to what to do about whatever that Tower card represents moving forward. Whether there's hope for that particular situation or just hope on a new path moving forward. There is another person here showing up as relevant in some way or influential in some way. So this is likely about a relationship or partnership of some kind, regardless of the nature of that relationship. High Priestess and the Ten of Swords. The Two of Wands and Death. Yeah, we have the Two of Wands twice here. So what choice you're going to make, what action is going to be taken is pretty relevant during this time period. Death represents a final ending, completion. We do have three major ending cards here, the Ten of Swords, the Tower, and Death. There's no fixing death. It's just rebirth and a new path after that. So it's probably not likely that the situation itself can be fixed in terms of what's already happened. Because the only reason, like if this is a relationship that was broken because of, you know, some kind of deal breaker, these cards are, to me, it feels like it's not so much about whether we can continue in the situation, but it represents that if that relationship were to move forward, it would have to be under completely different circumstances, because death in the Tower represents complete change. It's not renovation. It's not tweaking something that's there. This is like talking about major endings and moving forward in a brand new way. So for many of you, this decision is, if this relationship or partnership or whatever this situation is were to continue as part of your life, it would have to be in a completely different and transformative sort of way. Let's clarify that Five of Cups. Sorrow and regret, loss. It may be that the Star and Temperance, while just taken on the strength of those two cards alone, it might be that it's having hope in a situation, and it's not a realistic hope. I'm not certain. We'll continue to clarify. Clarify the Five of Cups. The Nine of Swords, worry, stress, anxiety, insomnia, worrying about an unknown future, what's going to happen. Clarify the Tower. The Devil. The Nine of Wands. And the Queen of Cups, which might be another person that's relevant to the situation. Perhaps a water sign person, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. The Queen of Cups is somebody who stereotypically, she's the Queen of Water, the Queen of Emotion, usually somebody who's very in touch and aware of her own emotions and the emotions of people around her, which makes her a very loving, kind, and compassionate person, a great source of support, feedback, comfort, always knows the right thing to say. The Nine of Wands is, sometimes referred to as the Wounded Warrior card, and it represents somebody who's already been through a number of battles and is feeling discouraged and depressed because yet another thing has come up again, and they're wondering if they should continue, how to continue, or even if they want to continue. And the Devil represents that this is an ongoing cycle, because the Devil doesn't appear overnight. This is a card that represents obsessive imbalance and the typical classical addictions card. Now, it could be a classic addiction like drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, shopping, a way of a pattern of behaving or choice making, but it has become unhealthy. But it's cyclical, so it implies that whatever this Tower card is, this is something that it has been an issue, an ongoing issue with you, with the other person, and here it feels like you don't know what to do here in this situation. It's like the situation that's gone on and on and on, and maybe you've had hope. And, again, I think for the largest majority, whatever this Tower card is something that has come into your life or that somebody has done to you. For a smaller portion, it might be something that you've done, like a relapse of some kind. It could be a relapse of somebody close to you. If it's a classic addiction, maybe it was over New Year's or something like that. This looks like somebody has lapsed into whatever this Tower card is. It represents a sense of betrayal to someone in this relationship, partnership of some kind, right? It's cyclical. It's been an ongoing issue. And it may be that this water sign individual that's showing up as another person relevant here, but it also may be, the Queen of Cups can be infinitely patient and understanding. So it may represent you're experiencing the energy of this, but you're just like, this has just been happening too much over and over and over again. You have hope that it's going to change, and then there's, like this honeymoon period, but then wham, here it goes again, It's unclear to me what the cycle is, but it's a cycle that's unhealthy, whether it's actual addiction, like a physical addiction of some kind, or it's a behavior pattern, toxic relationship behavior pattern, something of that sort. Once again, this issue has come up, but it feels like this time somebody is contemplating that perhaps it's just time to end this and move on. Clarify Temperance. But here we have Star and Temperance, which is yet again hope that there can be healing or hope that things can balance out. But I'm not sure based on this other card, these other cards, if that's realistic or not. The Three of Swords, which is heartache, heartbreak, separation, breakup. The Six of Cups, which again implies history, roots of origin, nostalgia, people, places, situations you have a history with. The Seven of Swords, which can be a card of deception, doing things undercover. Again, this is... And this probably relates to what the sense of betrayal and the tower coming down is about. This is a cycle which maybe somebody has had faith would be healed over and over and over again, but yet it's come up again. There's a sense perhaps of deception, dishonesty again. The Tower, the Ten of Swords, the Three of Swords, the Devil. It feels like something different needs to happen here. Because the Devil card represents that whatever this, that it's a cycle. The Tower card thing comes up, it's an issue. For example, if it's infidelity in the relationship and, it comes up and there's all this chaos and pain. But then somebody says, I promise I'll work on it, and perhaps they even mean it. And some time passes, but then the issue comes up again, or they cheat again, or something like that. And because this feels like at a certain point, somebody's trying to have faith, but they're struggling with having faith, because to me, this feels like something is just pretty much over. Clarify the King of Wands. King of Wands and the Two of Wands. This is either the King of Wands trying to make a decision of action into what they're going to do, or you're trying to make a decision around this King of Wands. Clarify King of Wands. Five of Wands, which is conflict, internal conflict, external conflict, petty conflict, going over the same thing around and around and around again. The King of Wands again. Clarify the Two of Wands, choices and decisions. The Lovers, a relationship at a crossroads. A decision needs to be made which will likely decide the future of this relationship. The Eight of Cups, leaving, walking away, turning your back on something which is unfulfilling, has become unfulfilling, or has simply run its course. So this is kind of a classic combination of cards for a relationship, that's either breaking up or on the brink of breaking up, because there's some kind of negative toxic cycle here. There's an issue with something, and it keeps going around and around and around and again. Messing up, promising, hope and faith. Some time passes, and then the thing comes around again. It's the classic nature of addiction, regardless of what, that Devil card energy is. Because, the Devil card enslaves, and the energy of the Devil, addiction, right? It enslaves through something alluring. So something is gotten out of it, even though it's something that becomes obsessive to the point that it's unhealthy. But this is an ongoing cycle, and it feels like whatever the way that it's happened this time, somebody is saying, I don't think I can do this anymore. But we're looking at a short period of time, just 2 weeks, but it feels here like this 2 weeks is all about, okay, what do I do about this situation? It feels like somebody is saying, I don't think I can do this anymore. I don't think I can have hope in this anymore, because there's a complete lack of trust, and there's too much dirty water under the bridge. There's too much of this cycle under the bridge. So something major has to happen. It's like final endings so that complete transformation can occur. Whether it's the situation itself, which doesn't happen too often, or it's just moving forward on a completely new and separate path, because that's what needs to happen. So let's end with pulling some advice and guidance cards for Taurus for the first 2 weeks of January. And again, it's not exactly the kind of thing we like to see going into the new year. But again, the Devil, the Tower, the Ten of Swords, this is an issue which is ongoing. It's not something that's shown up overnight. This is a problem that has history with it. And I think Spirit is allowing this to happen so that it can be dealt with once and for all, so that as you transition into the new year, you do so with your eyes open and as little baggage as possible moving forward. Advice and guidance for Taurus for the first 2 weeks of January 2021. January 2022. The Ace of Swords. This is kind of the wake up, get a clue, seeing something in the absolute light of truth as it is. This is no illusions. This is, the sword of truth, which comes in and it cuts away any extraneous illusions and false hopes about things and exposes something for exactly what it is. It's the light bulb going off over the head, the epiphany. It's a card that can represent success that comes from seeing things in a clear light. Now, the success part, seeing things in a clear light, if they're not what you wanted them to be or thought they were going to be or hoped they would be, it can be challenging. But the success comes that in that moment of seeing something for what it is, you have the opportunity to make choices and take action or walk different paths so that you can create a healthier reality for yourself. And that's where the potential success of the Ace of Swords comes in. The Five of Swords and the Seven of Cups. Now, the Seven of Cups is a card of illusion. It can be. Cups is governed by the element of water, so it's purely emotional energy. So this is looking only at the best and most perfect possible potential that something holds. And we all need to dream and have our dreams, but this is a card that's not really reality-based. It's about fantasizing, daydreaming, building castles in the sky, looking only at the most perfect outcome of something, right? And the Ace of Swords is kind of the opposite of that. It kind of comes in and cuts through that and says, yes, it's fine to say this is what I wish, this is what I want, this is what I hope, this is what I dream for. But what is the actual reality of a situation? The Five of Swords represents winning at all costs, which can represent, there's always this question with the Five of Swords is whether something is worth it, right? If holding on to a situation which looks like it's cyclically toxic, just so that you can say you have it, is it worth it? Only you can decide yes or no. So I think what Spirit is saying here, Taurus, regardless of the decision that you make or that the other person makes, that you should make it with your eyes open, that you should move forward with no illusions, that you look at something not what you wish it would be, want it to be, hope for it to be, but what it is. Because it's in that moment that we can make real change, even if it's difficult, even if we're the ones that messed up, and even if we can't fix the relationship or the partnership and it can't continue. It's about learning so that when we move forward, we can make different decisions moving forward so that we don't repeat these cycles again. And Spirit wants you to see that in the pure truth of what that is. And that's what I'm getting for the advice here. So those are your messages, Taurus, for the first 2 weeks of January. It's a bit challenging, but it's about choice. It's about seeing the truth and making decisions based on that and on what's good and healthy and balanced and right for yourself. So in that sense, I hope it was helpful. Again, if anyone would like to reach out for a personal reading, maybe take a deeper look at something, feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. You can also get that info by clicking the description link below. I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the January mid-month readings. Have a wonderful transition into your new year, or at least a safe and peaceful one. And I hope to see you back here again soon in a couple of weeks. Take care. Bye-bye.